Well, hello everyone, and welcome to our 8th and final Ohio Teachers Showcase Google Hangout. Today is March 23rd of 2015, and we wanted to talk to you a little bit about the project video as well as the reflection video, and get your thoughts about a little bit more about this SAMR model. So we may as well get started. Before we start completely, I want to mention that Jeff Good is here with us once again. He's going to be handling the technology piece and also give you some information about being able to work with your videos and also the reflection video. Before we do that, I want to remind you that there have been some changes in the deadlines, and those are posted on the Ohio Teacher Showcase website. You are asked to submit your lesson video, your lesson plan, and all of your support materials now by April the 30th. The reflection video is due on May the 8th, and the project evaluation needs to be completed no later than May the 15th. I'll go over those again one more time at the end of the Hangout. So the first thing we want to do is talk a little bit about the SAMR model and go back to it for just a moment, and then I have a few new tools that you might want to add to your toolbox. Remember that the SAMR model begins at the bottom and works its way to the top. At the bottom of the SAMR model, we use technology simply to substitute for the old way of doing things. No functional changes occur. We're just using technology in order to create some new way of getting our message across. In the augmentation section, we're actually using technology as a complete substitute, and we're also making a functional improvement. And the example here says that we use Google Earth rulers to measure the distance between two places instead of using maybe a technology ruler if we're using smart notebook software or some other tools. In the modification stage, again, technology allows for significant task redesign, and we can use Google Earth and use a panorama with 360 cities to research locations in the example. And then finally, we redefine technology because it allows for the creation of new tasks that we previously had never conceived. So those are the steps in the SAMR model, which we can work our ways through. Now what I'd like to do is take a look with you at a set of documents that I posted to the website, and I'm going to actually go to the Teacher Showcase website right now, and we are at the monthly Hangout for March 23rd. And I talked a little bit about taking SAMR to the next level, and I've referred you to a point on the internet, Edutopia, and I think I have talked about Edutopia before in a Hangout. Within Edutopia, we'll find that we are leaving the website and we're going out to then the Edutopia website, and when we get there we'll find an article in which an administrator shares with us the 5 different ways that he has discovered for using the SAMR model for administrators. But I'll tell you what, this isn't just for administrators, it's for anyone and everyone in education. His information is broken down into 5 different parts. The first part is for redefining staff presentations. What I'd like to call your attention to is using the SAMR model to do some community interaction. And this deals a lot with, well, how do we send out newsletters to our constituency, or the people who represent our children, as in parents and guardians. If I go down here in the website, the gentleman has given us some examples of how we can interact with the digital community, and has kind of plugged them into the SAMR model. So in the area of substitution, where nothing actually changes, we're just using technology to do it, he suggests that we email the school newsletter or post the school newsletter to a website. In the augmentation section, which is where we actually do a substitution and then change things in some way, we can create an account within the school district where we share information with parents in business and industry. Or we can go to a Symbaloo page, and I'm going to take you there right now to Symbaloo, and if you haven't used Symbaloo, I make a suggestion that you at least try it. It's a really cool tool that actually gives you buttons where you can organize your information. So if you were a teacher, if you're a principal, you can actually post information to your Symbaloo page, share the Symbaloo address with your constituents, and ask them to take a look at what you have on YouTube, or share your Facebook, or perhaps your Pinterest page, or LinkedIn if you choose to. This is also a really good kind of an augmentation to use with your students. So going back then to the Edutopia page, if we want to use Twitter to keep the community informed, well, that would be an example of a modification where our technology allows us to do things in a significantly different way. And I know that you'll agree that Twitter is significantly different from anything that we have done with our community in the past. And then we could create QR codes to post around the school or the community to share information. We could put those at the grocery store, at the barber shop, anywhere that our parents are visiting. And keep in mind that this probably would work extremely well, any of these ideas, for elementary and middle school children's parents, because they're actually using all of these technologies to start with. And then finally, if we wanted to really ramp it up a bunch of notches, we could set up a Twitter live chat, and we would be redefining what it is we're doing. We could set up a chat between school leadership and community members and talk to them about the things that we're doing through a live chat. We could also use, imagine, a Google Hangout for a PTA meeting. Instead of drawing all those parents into your school, where of course you want them, we could actually have a Hangout to do that. And again, we could use Google Drive for collaboration. And there's a cool new tool out there for our tablets and our cell phones that I'll let you explore a little bit. We can't do it here, in order to share more information about student achievement throughout the community. Now, you will notice there that there are 3 or 4 other parts to this series, and every one of them is extremely valuable, both for administrators and for teachers. And so if you go to your March 23rd Google Hangout and you click on the Edutopia page, that'll take you right there. Okay? Okay, I'm going to stop sharing that, and now I'm going to come back to you. The other thing that I want to talk to you about today, and Jeff's going to chime in on this a little while later. Hi, Kathy. How you doing? I'm glad you're here.
Good. My Google password was all screwed up, and it wouldn't let me on, and was being really dumb for me.
Okay. We need to talk a little bit about the project video. Now, that is actually due on April the 30th. And we're asking you to include anything that would enrich the video. Remember that these videos are going to be viewable for people, for teachers, and if there's another project next year, they'll be used for reference points. So be sure that you submit any student work, any rubrics you may have used that would be helpful for others. Any presentations that would make the video a richer and fuller product. So you can do that in the traditional way by going to the website again and putting those onto the spreadsheet that has been set up by filling out the Google form. Now, we have had a problem with at least one of our teachers losing video, and Jeff is going to talk about that a little bit. And Kathy, I think that Jeff can probably address your question as well. So, Jeff, I'm going to turn the mic over to you.
Sounds great, Barb. Can you hear me all right?
Am I the only one here?
Well, let's not think of it as you're the only one here. Let's think of it as you're here in a very intimate group. It's much like, let's imagine being, you know, at a concert, so to speak, and you might be the only one there, and that's all right. Yeah, talk very quickly about some of the things as you're building, as you're turning in your project and your final video project. We've had a couple folks call, at least one in particular, where they lost their video, and I want to make sure I throw out to some folks. I'm going to be conducting a professional development session before the deadline of April 30th that'll go over all the things you need to know about where to store your video off of your device. So what I'm going to recommend to folks right now is don't get rid of video yet. We had someone that created a video and then I think lost the video. I don't know the whole story, but bottom line is don't get rid of any of your video yet on your device. I'm hopeful that I'll be able to blast out an email to everyone outlining a PD that I'll be doing that'll talk quite a bit about how can I take this video I have on my device, create my project, obviously my video, but then store it, how to get it off my device. So keep that in mind. Also, Kathy had brought up the question, and Barb brings up a great point in regards to this project. And oftentimes what happens with the Teacher Showcase project, we think of it as one thing. We think of it as video. And what really it is, it's kind of a compilation of all the materials that relate to doing that, using that lesson plan. So, you know, think about it this way. When it's all said and done, all of these videos will be sitting in a website that other folks are going to look at. The Department of Education, they're going to direct people to that. So whatever you use to get your job done in relation to this, using this lesson plan, include it in there. I mean, we've had folks in the past include pictures. They've included all different kinds of things, whether it's lesson plans, activity sheets, references to websites, all of those things. And if you do anything on the document side, Kathy, I think I replied to you on the chat side, send it as a PDF. And then we'll just store all that related to your project, and then hopefully what we got is kind of a one-stop shop of everything. So when people do look at your videos, they'll say, oh, well, how in the world did she do this in this video? Well, the materials will be there for that person to get through that. Any questions? I mean, Kathy, I mean, it's your stage here.
So, all right. You know what? I actually have a whole folder. I have been doing this, and I have a whole folder on my desktop. When I did it with my students, I did video screening of how to go in and create their auras or upload their auras or where to upload their trigger images and how to do it. So I have several how-to videos. Can I upload those videos as well?
Yeah, let me double check, but that shouldn't be a problem. I guess what we want to have when it's is that I always reference a point, if I'm not here tomorrow, can someone else do? And that's kind of the way we need to look at it is, if you had to hand that off to a substitute, how would you do that? Would you give all those other resources too? And think about that, because the more resources you have, as Barb said, it makes a more fuller project. You know, it kind of puts it all in perspective that, yeah, here's the final lesson plan video, but you know what, here are all the materials. So let me double check on additional videos, Kathy, but I don't see that being a major problem, but I'll double check that for you.
It just may, this is my second year of doing this particular augmented reality project, and it just made it a lot easier for the kids. I remember last year I spent a lot of time going through the steps over and over, and so they could just have that up and review and do it as they were uploading their stuff.
That's a great question and a great comment, and I'm going to check, make sure, but I don't see that being a problem. Anything we can do to enhance your overall project so that it becomes very replicable, you know, how easy can it be, you know, replicated? That's really the goal of this project too, is that we build a whole warehouse of these lesson plans, but you know, your background in being a teacher, there's more to just the lesson plans. It's like you really want to see, you know, the video, and you're going to see the activity sheets, and you're going to see and these additional videos. That's outstanding, Kathy, and I appreciate, you know, I'll double check and make sure that we can add some more things to the webpage.
And do you want like sample of, say, student storyboards and that too?
That'd be wonderful. If you think it would pertain, then send it. Because, you know, worst case scenario, Kathy, we say we can't put all of what you're doing on there. That's a good problem. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Thank you. I think I went over my time frame, Barb. Sorry.
Oh, no, we can make up for that. I'll talk faster.
Okay.
Kathy, are you using that, what is it called, Aurasma or?
Aurasma, A-U-R-A-S-M-A.
Uh-huh. And is that how you created the auras? And do you really like that?
It's not. I mean, it's something that I would use. I wouldn't use all the time, but it's actually a really nice thing. I think I might do it next year. One way I saw that you could use it is like if you had a homework, like, you know, we're doing Punnett Squares right now, where you could actually do, you know, do a link. So you take a picture of this and you make a video that, like, say, shows an example. Like I could do a video that then when they do this and take their Aurasma thing over, it will actually play a video showing them how to do that.
That is really cool. I can see so many applications for that, and that really does take everything back up to the redefinition level as far as the SAMR model is concerned. So I'm glad to know that you're using it and have some success with it. That's great.
Well, the kids like it. It's something different than just being lectured to about cell organelles, and they had fun doing their videos. So most of them, some of them were really bad.
Okay. Well, that's okay. That's okay. Well, good, Kathy. Thank you. I'm going to explore that a little bit more. It sounds like it'd be a really cool thing to use. So, okay. Thanks, Jeff, for your comments and for your discussion about the project video. I want to talk a little bit about the reflection video, and to do that, I want to go back to the Showcase website because I have a little bit more information there for you, and I'm going to share it with you now. I put a paragraph here about creating the reflection video, and that, of course, is due on May the 8th, and you're thinking about this from the perspective of the whole team. So the video should include the teachers who were involved, the curriculum director who was involved, and also the technology person who was involved in the project. And you're going to focus not only on the team, but also the impact in the classroom. I've given you a link for a guide to what your video should probably include, although that's not all. You can include anything that you want. And as you're preparing about these reflections, I want you to think about some very important components, like how your comments would apply to the project with iTip Ohio and the ed techs, about how the whole team interaction went, and then finally as yourself as an individual. And we're going to give you two options for doing the reflection video. The first one, and this link is going to take you to a Google Doc, that I adapted as a PBL reflection, project-based learning, from the BIE.org website. And this is just a form to prompt you on some of the things that you will want to definitely include in your video, but as I said, you can go beyond. So we need to know your name, the project name, and the driving question. And then what steps did you go through to complete the project? Now, you're making a reflection video about your project. So then we want you to think about, what's the most important thing you learned in this project? What do you wish you had done, had spent more time on or done differently? And what part of the project did you do your best work on? So this gives you a chance to talk about your successes and what you would do a little differently. And then about the project, what did you enjoy the most about the project? What was the least enjoyable part of the project? And how could you change this project to make it better next time? So this gives you an opportunity to reflect. You could also ask the kids these questions before you finish up with your reflection video and see what they had to say about the important things that they learned, etc. So that is one way that you can complete the reflection video, and you can actually create a video yourself, and you can submit that then to us based on the information on the Teacher Showcase website. Jeff now is going to tell you about a second option that we're making available to you that I think you're going to like. So Jeff, go ahead and grab the microphone and let us know.
Great. Like Barb said, think of the reflection video as kind of an evaluation video of the project. So as Barb put together, there's a wonderful list of questions that you can ask yourself if you were to do the reflection video. And obviously, the requirement of the reflection video is that you make sure whether you're answering the questions yourself in a video or you're doing it the way I'm going to talk about next, is that you're including all of your team members. So remember, it's your your two folks plus your curriculum plus your tech coordinator. Make sure you're getting some of their input in regards to that reflection video. Now, what I'm offering to folks is that I'm more than willing to do what I'm going to call a virtual interview. And if I could get, if the teams get together and they want to, I'll allocate about a half hour and I'll put a schedule together where we'll do a Google Hangout and do a connection. And then, I will ask these questions that Barb has put together. And when you're done, we're going to do it as a Google On Air, which means it's going to be a final video project. So it'll be a final video when it's done. And if that's more comfortable for you, instead of trying to answer these questions, I could ask you the questions in the environment that we're in right now. And then when the Hangout On Air is over, it would actually be located in the iTip Ohio website. Or I'm sorry, in the YouTube channel. So if that's another option, if you don't want to set up your iPad and shoot your video and you think you can get everybody together at one time, because that's what we'll need, I will offer that out to you, and I will get that schedule. And I got to give it a name. I don't know what I'm going to call it yet, but I said a virtual interview. But that's really what it'll be, much like we're doing right here. I'll ask you a question, you'll reply, but when the video's done, it'll be all of your responses based upon the questions I ask. And it's going to be the same questions that Barb has listed. I may expand upon them a little bit, but that's what we're looking at. So if that's an option for you, I'm going to be sending that out also to everyone, and it'll get a link to get yourself scheduled with your team.
Okay, Jeff, thanks. And you probably said this, and I just kind of blanked out or something, but didn't you say that the teams can gather in two different ways? They could all sit in front of one computer and talk to you, or they could each be on their own computer. So, for instance, each teacher could have their own computers, maybe in the same room, but the curriculum director could be in their office, as could the coordinator for technology.
Absolutely. So it could be either way, Barb. I didn't get a chance to say that, but yeah, I could either do it. You could have all 3 or 4 of you sitting around, as if you can imagine sitting around where I am right now, or individually folks could connect, much like what we have right now, and imagine instead of iTip and imagine instead of myself, it would be Kathy and the rest of her group. So that's just an option for you, and you'll be seeing that link to sign up for those if that's something that you're interested in. You should be seeing that no later than mid-February, mid-April. So hopefully we'll have that all, and we just want to make it easier on you, and I know a lot of people get nervous asking themselves questions, and I have no problem with asking questions. So if that's a direction you want to go, and the folks that are watching these videos now after the fact, certainly that's an option for you.
Okay, Jeff, thank you very much. We appreciate that, and boy, I think I'd go for that option for sure. Kathy, do you have any questions about anything or any comments that you'd like to make about possibly the reflection video or anything we've talked about?
I am working with somebody at the elementary, so don't get to see him very much, and I know that our tech guy is really busy, and we don't really have a curriculum specialist per se, but that would probably work better for the 3 of us if we did it that way than to try and do it the other way.
Very good. 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 Okay. Well, maybe we'll make you our first person, and we'll do a test on you. How's that sound?
I hope I can get caught up during spring break and get all this finished and put together over spring break. So.
Oh, good. Is that coming up soon?
Next week.
Good. Good. Okay. Okay, well, those are the main things that we wanted to cover with you today, and again, just a reminder that as participants, whether you're live with us today or you're watching us on YouTube later on, you need to complete the evaluation form, and the link to that is over on my left, which is your left as well, and it's also on the Hangout website. Again, changes in deadline, the lesson video, lesson plan, and all of your support materials, and anything that makes the whole experience richer and fuller for someone else, due April the 30th. Your reflection video, and hopefully Jeff will have all of his things done if he's doing when he's doing interviews by May 8th. And then the final project evaluation will be due on May 15th. So watch for that sign-up document in your email box from Jeff to sign up for the reflection video. If there is nothing else, Jeff, any more comments? Anything else you'd like to say today?
I know this is our last Google Hangout training, and I guess the only thing, and you touched on it too, Barb. Anyone watching this now, and Kathy, if you talk to your folks, make sure they have an opportunity to watch the previous videos and look at the evaluations and give us some feedback. That's kind of our feedback, whether this format worked and whether this information you found helpful. And we only know what we know. So if you talk with folks and folks that are watching this now as a YouTube video, if you're watching the stream or watching the after, make sure you get an opportunity to watch all of the previous videos if you haven't already and take that evaluation. And that would certainly help us and would appreciate that. Thank you.
Sure will. Thanks, Jeff. Well, I want to say thank you to everyone who has attended any of our Hangouts, especially Kathy today. She's here for our very last one. And we have certainly enjoyed bringing you the information that has hopefully been helpful to you in creating your project video, etc. And don't forget that everything that we've talked about is on the Teacher Showcase website, and you can refer to that at any point in time. So, from Western Reserve Public Media and from iTip Ohio, thank you very much for being with us, and hopefully we'll see you in another venue. Bye.